Hello and welcome to this instructional video from Data Service. This particular video is going to go over the student detail report that Progress Book will generate. Before we look at the report, I'd like to look at some of the levels of reporting that you'll get on the report. So the report reports out at the standard level and at the reporting category level. So here I have a quick image that details how the reporting category is calculated and how the data is filtered in to find the grade for the standard. So teachers or the district create assessments that are based off of standards. And then students take those assessments and they generate a grade, or they get a proficiency level. That grade is filtered into the standard grade. So students are graded on the actual standard. Several like standards will be strung together to formulate a reporting category. So a student takes an assessment on a standard, and then they get a grade at the standard level or a proficiency level at the standard level. And then from there, that proficiency level is chunked with other proficiency levels of like standards, and they create a reporting category. So that's how the reporting category is calculated, and that's how the standards are calculated. Here are a few examples of reporting categories and standards that are used to generate the scores. This is a kindergarten report. These are kindergarten reporting categories. So you'll see down here, key ID and details is reading literary standards 1 or 2 and 3, and reading informational standards 2 and 3. So this one uses 4 standards, this particular reporting category. Some use more than 4. This particular language conventions down here is all of the language standards. And some use less than 4. So name all upper and lowercase letters is only one standard that informs that particular reporting category. All right, let's take a look at the student progress report. So this will be the report that gets generated and sent out, or teachers can actually generate this report from Progress Book. If you take a look, all the standard information is here. You've got the student's homeschool to the right. To the left, you have all the student information, and at the top here will be the student's name. And then on the right is all the attendance information. There's a quick statement about the purpose of mastery-based learning, and then below that is an explanation of progress marks. So you have beginning, progressing, proficient, and beyond, and not evaluated. So just if a student gets not evaluated, it does not mean that the student has not been taught a particular skill. It just means that that skill has not yet been evaluated. Oftentimes a skill might be recursory throughout the year, and a teacher may make decisions as to when to evaluate a student's specific skill, and a lot of skills are overlapping. So a student may get a not evaluated. That doesn't mean that they were not taught it yet. It just means they have not been evaluated on it yet. So we have beginning here, which is where a majority of the students might start the year, because all students are graded at the end of the year, at the end of the year expectation, even if it's the beginning of the year. That's how standards reporting works. So they take a look at the end of the year expectation, and then they grade the standard on that expectation all year. That way we can track progress, students' progress towards the end of the year goal. So at the beginning of the year, you might see a lot of red on your student's report. You might see a couple beginnings, and that's nothing to be frightened about. That's pretty common. Then there's progressing, proficient, which is what all students should be shooting for at the end of the year. So the end of the year goal is proficient, so in the standard. And then beyond would be above grade level expectation. But what we're really looking for is the proficient for each student. All right, we'll take a look at our reporting categories for language arts. Here on the left, you have proficiency based on standard. So this donut chart here speaks to the standard level. So you'll see that this is a beginning of the year report. There are 58 language arts standards in this grade level. Only 51 of them have been evaluated currently. The student has 2 standards that they are beginning on, 1 standard that they are progressing, and 4 standards that they are proficient in. So if you take a look to the right, it'll show you the different grading categories and how the student is doing in each grading category. So all upper and lowercase letters, the student is proficient in. So that means that the student knows all upper and lowercase letters. Print awareness, the student is also proficient. So This report gives us a more detailed look at a student's grades and how we might be able to help them as teachers and as parents, so we can actually narrow down into specifically what skills a student may need to work on or what skills a student is proficient in. If you have questions about a reporting category or what specific standards a student is missing or beginning on or proficient on, each teacher has a detailed report that shows how each student is progressing on the specific standards that inform each of these reporting categories. Teacher will have. Every subject area looks similar to language arts, so all grades are calculated the same. You'll see here in math, there are fewer reporting categories, but it's all functions the exact same way. So this teacher or this student is in comparing numbers is in the beginning, which is fine. It's the beginning of the year, that's expected. Count to tell the number of objects, also beginning. And you can see on the left, the progress on standards, the donut over here, shows the exact same thing. So this student, 9 out of 9 standards, this student is beginning on as a beginning proficiency level. There's a social studies that's exactly the same, and science as well. So all grades will be generated in a very similar way. And then here at the bottom, you'll see that there was a spot for related arts. It's actually called exploratories. On this particular report, it's called related arts, but when the reports are generated and sent home, it will be called exploratories. There will also be a spot below for approaches to learning. So just below this, there will be a spot for approaches to learning, and all related arts, all exploratories and approaches to learning grades will also be generated on this specific report. So all that information will be found right here. The purpose of this report card is to focus on what a student needs and how we can get that student to receive that provision. So thank you so much for watching.